Hi, this is Ashley from Secrets of Scale. Here are my top 10 tips on selecting a contract manufacturer. First up, knowing the difference between the tiers of your contract manufacturer, tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3. Tier 1 has everything in-house, or what we say fully vertically integrated. They will do the tooling, the molding, the PCB, the assembly, and also the final packaging. A tier 2 provide those subcomponents or services or be a supplier to a tier 1. They may also be able to do final assembly, but typically they are smaller and deal with smaller volumes. Now, you also have tier 3, which basically are suppliers to tier 2s and tier 1s. Typically don't do final assemblies, but may work on sub-assemblies and will work on much lower volumes, typically a lower quality understanding and a smaller team. Go and visit China. So this is really, really important. Go and visit multiple options. It's really important to be able to go and see the location, meet the people, and to understand the different things about the capabilities of the contract manufacturer. So is everything in-house? If it's not in-house, what is subcontracted out? And then if those subcontracted things out are important to your product, like the tooling or the molding or the PCB or the PCBA, then you need to go and visit the subcontractors as well, because you want to be able to assess that the quality of the subcontracted item is the same quality as your contract manufacturer. This is really important to be able to go and look and see and feel, and also start to build relationships with the people that you're going to be working with. Purely focusing on cost alone. This was something that I did and made a big mistake, where I would have either a part or a sub-assembly and I would just send that out for a quotation, and then I would just look for the best cost. All right, makes sense, right? Well, sometimes going for the lowest cost can be very risky and very dangerous. You then want to be able to discuss the cost. Now, you can do it face to face. Of course, you can do it remotely as well. A supplier will give a very, very low cost to be able to win the work, or they give a low cost because they don't necessarily understand how technically difficult it is to make that product or part. That can lead to then adding more cost later down the road. A supplier will have a different understanding of the quality and the expectation for that product or subcomponent. You really want to be able to look at other things like quality, experience in making that type of product, as well as just the cost alone. The importance of DFM, which is design for manufacture. This is one of the most important things to have an understanding and implement. Now, if you're an engineer, I'm sure you will already know what DFM is. If you're not an engineer, you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to bring your product to market, then you really either need to understand design for manufacture, or certainly work with or find partners or suppliers that really understand what design for manufacture is. So it's very easy to make a prototype, and whether that's through 3D printing or soft tooling or whatever. And you may find a partner that can design a product for you and create even a fully working prototype. Now, the difference is that that's a one-off. Design for manufacture is designing for high volume, or certainly multiple volumes of that product. You have to take into consideration the materials, obviously the cost, and also the ease of assembly if it's multiple parts coming together. Design for manufacture is a very big subject, but you need to be aware of the importance, and you need to either find a supplier or a partner or engineers that have experience in design for manufacture in the particular field that your product is related to. Not assessing the quality control processes of your contract manufacturer. It's very dependent on the type of product that you're developing or intending to bring into the market. Some products, especially if they have electronics, need certifications to go into different markets. Quality is always related either to safety and of course the durability. That will have a direct impact into basically your brand value. If you're doing a mobile phone, for example, you don't want to go and produce a mobile phone and go to someone that's making beach balls. So I know that sounds obvious, but if you go to a contract manufacturer that has experience in building either the same types of products or something similar, then the chances of them understanding the quality controls and the processes needed for those types of products is going to be much higher. Only really talking about the first layer here, but the next layer will be to then understand, okay, what are the types of quality controls that they have? How do they handle incoming material? How do they handle the quality on the line? What type of testing capabilities do they have? So on and so forth. So this is the key thing to look out for. Yes doesn't always mean yes. In fact, you don't only just find this in China. Find this anywhere. What you'll find is maybe you will be communicating your product, either the requirements from timing or costing, even from a technical point of view. Sometimes when you're having those conversations and you're saying, okay, I need this cost, and the contract manufacturer may just say yes, you think, okay, we've agreed, and then you get the product and it might be 10, 20% more, and then you'll be saying, well, you said that you could make this for this price. You said yes, when actually a lot of the times it just means that they say, yes, I understand that this is your price, not necessarily I will make it for that price. It's a very small difference between the two. You need to really double down that you communicate exactly what you want. And the best way to do that is through detailed specifications, detailed planning, as best as you can, your requirements, and to make sure that your CM really understands what you're looking for, whether that's through a contract or through drawings or through detailed project plans. Good CMs select you, not the other way around. This might sound crazy, but actually this is very, very true, especially for the tier ones. Typically very much in high regard. Of course, the good ones, they are typically looking for the higher volumes. You may find yourself identifying tier ones and tier twos and you think, yeah, they're perfect. They've got the quality standards I need. They make the similar products to us. We'll choose them. And then you may go and visit them. You may even get rejected. They may say, no, we don't want to work with you because your volumes aren't big enough. And this is really to do with the communication, because if you don't have the higher volumes at first, to actually go and essentially pitch our product and the business model itself, to convince them, the contract manufacturer, that if you support us over this period and help us to create lower volumes than what your requirement is, that we can then be a high growth business. They can benefit from that over a 2, 3, 4, 5 year period. And if they get in early, they can obviously benefit from that as well. Get the A team. I've experienced many, many times where we've selected the contract manufacturer, we've done the visits, they've agreed to work with us. Now, what then might happen, you don't get the A team within the contract manufacturer. The contract manufacturer will think, okay, I've got 10 customers. Okay, which one's going to make me more money? Which one is giving me the highest volume? Which one, us as a contract manufacturer, we can get the biggest margin? So of course, they're going to put their best people on those higher margin, more reputable projects. The best way I found is, again, go to China. You say to the contract manufacturer, who am I going to be working with? The key person you're going to be working with is essentially the project manager or the technical project manager. Typically, that is your key interface, and they are the ones that are bilingual and are translating pretty much everything that you want over to the technical team. So that person is really the key funnel, definitely the first person you want to meet. Now, of course, the team behind that needs to be good as well. My recommendation is to go and meet that person, assess them, build a rapport, and to agree with the contract manufacturer and say, yes, I want to make sure that this person is going to be the main interaction, the single point of contact that's going to be leading my project. I really recommend that you do this. Spend the time to assess whether or not you're getting the right support to implement your project successfully. Lean development. This is really all about having an understanding around the development process and the development mindset of bringing a product to market. More prevalent to more complex devices or products. Typically, when you're innovating or you're doing something innovative that's never been done before, you're going to need to do a lot of prototyping. You may have done that even before you've got to your contract manufacturer, or you may not. You need to ideally find a contract manufacturer that understands this iterative process process of build, measure, and learn. If they have that mindset, when you want to be able to work quickly, obviously have a certain required quality, find a contract manufacturer that understands the product development process from what we would call proof of concept, POC, or minimal viable product, MVP, to the stages of EV, DV, PV, and then mass production is a known development process. If you can find a contract manufacturer that has a good experience of this development process, they understand the level of maturity of that product, what is needed in order to move to the next stage. That will definitely help you when you're looking to scale up your products and get it into mass production. Confidentiality, especially when you're working with a contract manufacturer for the first time, and especially when you have IP and very high levels of innovation. Of course, you don't want your products to be copied, but there are things that you can do to mitigate this. First thing is to obviously look for contract manufacturers that are already working with very high reputable customers. What happens is those customers do their audits, they have confidentiality agreements already in place. And of course, a contract manufacturer that's working with people like this doesn't want to get a bad name by leaking or copying or infringing on any IP. Probably quite obvious. The second thing you can do is, if you have a product that has high innovation, to split that up into sub-assemblies or sub-components and then give them to different suppliers. So then the supplier that's doing the sub-component or sub-assembly doesn't know what the full picture is. They don't really know what they're working on. Then what you need to do is to set up the supply chain that those sub-components then goes into your final assembler, which can be your main contract manufacturer, actually. The tier 2 can be the final assembler that then works with their tier 3s that's working on the sub-components itself. This is a really good way to protect yourself. The IP is much more difficult to copy because you don't know the full product. What you can then do is put in place the supply chain. It takes work, of course, but then again, if you value your IP and the innovation, then of course it's going to be worth the effort. So I strongly suggest you take this approach if you're doing a high innovation product. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you found these tips helpful. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.